Check, 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 check. Mia, can you say check, 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 check? Say check, 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 check. Say daddy. Can you say daddy? Say check, 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 check. Should we sing Baby Shark? Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark. Huh? She's wiggling her butt. Huh? Typically I do these ads while this little minion is sleeping, but today we have a snowstorm in April. Go figure. So she's up. Right. Hanging out with Dad. You want to come up? Here, hold on. Yeah. Should we cut some ads for Michael Shynes? For the Michael Shynes and Lance Conrad episode? This show was awesome, man. We did it. The final day of Final Four, downtown Minneapolis, right on First Avenue, right outside the Loon Cafe. You're going to hear some background noises. You're going to hear some Iowans trying to chirp in. Some Virginia fans, some Texas Tech fans. Congratulations to Virginia for pulling it off, reaching their first ever Final Four, which means their first ever championship, and then winning their first ever championship. Their head coach and their team strongly deserve it. Shout out to Michael Shynes. Played countless shows throughout the Final Four weekend. This dude is talented. Chris from Wonder Cloud linked me up with him, and then we both sat down with him and his producer, and he was fresh out off of the Jason show, and then ended up going on WCCO and some other gigs. And most importantly, what's coming up? Tomorrow he will be playing varsity theater. This is a huge, huge step for any musician to be playing varsity theater. I just saw Joe Rogan there last year. Like, the big wigs come play varsity. And Mike, be careful. And Mike's going to be playing it tomorrow. Here, let me set you down. And Mike's going to be playing it tomorrow. I'm so excited to kind of further this relationship. I love becoming a fanboy of some of the best musicians in our state. The ones that deserve all the recognition, the ones that deserve all the attention coming their way. They put in their time. They deserve this. And Mike, Yamhouse, Prof, Cashanova, these types, you guys, we're so lucky to have them in our state and to be representing our state. Words can't describe how I feel being able to be lucky enough to be around greatness. Go check out Michael Shynes, Shynes, on Spotify, and you too will understand. We went so deep on, we were even talking about, cover songs and how they can really help an artist catapult their career. And I brought up Lissy, and little did I know I was sitting across one of Lissy's producers in Lance. I had no idea, because I brought up her Pursuit of Happiness cover, which shed the light on so many of us becoming aware of who Lissy was. And now look, she's made a career for herself. And the same thing is happening locally here. We're so lucky to have the likes of Lance and Michael Shynes in our state representing us. And Lance's studio was a rock throw away from where we recorded this. Next time we're recording it in your studio, Lance. Best believe that. So I'd like to dedicate this episode and thank one of our partners in Lapidary Jewelers. Adam has been taking care of me, and we are so lucky to have partnerships like this, where he basically just gives me free rein. He allows me to be me and to do what I do best. And it shouldn't go unnoticed what Lapidary's done for me. They just made us this awesome piece for around my chest It's made out of sterling silver. I didn't ask for it. He's just like, Nick, send me over your logo. Before I know it, they were whipping up this design, and it just came in yesterday. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to have people like this. And then I was at a birthday party last night, and it was for my boy Corey, and he's been working on this astronaut piece, and it was really rough the last time he showed it to me. And then he walks me in the room yesterday. He's like, Nick, I made this for you, and it's just decked out. What, baby? What? Oh, should we go get your bottle? Let's go get your bottle. Come on. Come on. Follow me to the promised land. Dadding out today. Getting dadded out. Come here. Come here. Come and get it, mama. Come and get it. Come on. Come and get it. Here you go, baby. There you go. There you go. Okay. Get some of that sauce in you. Some of that sauce. Why don't you lay down? She likes to like drink her bottle while standing up and then cocks her head all the way back. Like, this little Linda's about to lose her balance. See, she's toppling. Okay. So, with that being said, enjoy this episode. Take it in and make sure you go consume some of this phenomenal art coming from a local artist, someone who deserves the recognition, someone who deserves all the good things that are bound to come his way. With that being said, enjoy the show. I'm such an idiot. I should probably act like I do this. Go get some Michael Shynes tickets for tomorrow's show at Varsity Theater at michaelshynes.com, as well as come check me out next Wednesday at offices at China Hall. We've got a little assembly going on there where I will be speaking to a private group about podcasting and how you can enhance your life with it, the marketability behind it. So it's limited. That's why I call it private, because it will be limited. We've already been filling up quite a bit. We just announced yesterday. So get a hold of us. Definitely follow the Stationary Astronauts page to make sure you can get in there, because it will fill up. It'll probably fill up by tomorrow, I'm guessing. So make sure you come support us. Also go to michaelshynes.com to get your tickets for tomorrow. Baby, you got something to say? 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 Are you gonna say something? Yeah. Are you gonna eat the mic, or what are you gonna do? Huh? Oh. Enjoy the show.
Well, lay your head down on my shoulder and let my heartbeat keep your time. And in the future, you'll be old enough to draw more apparent lines. Well, tell me what you want, tell me what you need. Can I satisfy the hunger in your chest? Listen to the backbeat of the kick drum. Doesn't it tell your story best? On, this is just the same song. I am such a head case, you are just a broken starlet. In my nuclear vision, I see more repetition, an explosion than a brand new project. On, this is just the same song. I am such a head case, you are just a broken starlet. In my nuclear vision, I see more repetition, an explosion than a brand new project. Run your hands through my hair, keep them at 10 and 2, like you're driving through the city at midnight in June. And I am with you. Well, You be the mission and I'll be the truth. Don't be so aware of what troubles you. You were a diamond in the rough before I found you. And if there's a tear in the fabric, baby, thread my needle up and I'll be damned if we can't mend it. On, this is just the same song. I am such a head case. You are just a broken starlet. In my nuclear vision, I see more repetition, an explosion than a brand new project. On, this is just the same song. I am such a head case. You are just a broken starlet. In my nuclear vision, I see more repetition, an explosion than a brand new project. And this is just the same song. I am such a head case. You are just a broken starlet. In my nuclear vision, I see more repetition, an explosion than a brand new project. On, this is just the same song. I am such a head case. You are just a broken starlet. In my nuclear vision, I see more repetition, an explosion than a brand new project. I'm gonna be high as a fucking man.
And now, the stationary astronaut.
Chat. Dude.
You got me?
Yeah.
All right.
Slovakia.
What is happening this isn't this how podcast always goes? That's when the cement truck shows up.
Hey, let's sit next to a train and a cement
truck and a train.
This is what we get for being downtown Minneapolis on First Avenue during Final Four weekend. What are we thinking?
What am I thinking?
What are we thinking?
We're thinking that we're glad it's not the Super Bowl, right?
I'll take 1 million of these over the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Easily.
Pretty brutal. I experienced that as well. I had a gig every night the whole Super Bowl week down here. And my Vikings weren't in it.
Yeah.
Because they got knocked out the week before. So I thought they were going to be the first team to play in their home stadium on Super Bowl.
That was some bullshit.
Didn't happen.
But I just became a Saints fan, so it's all good.
What are the fucking odds? You see the cement truck that literally just pulled up once we got all the mics working?
I'll coast with it, though. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm malleable. I'm a chameleon. And you have to be. You got red hair.
I gotta be, man.
You have to be a chameleon.
To get married, to get a date, to get a guitar, to get a life. You gotta be a chameleon as a redhead. None. You gotta shear in that shit.
So we're here with your producer extraordinaire.
Yeah, Lance.
Now, you just self-proclaimed him as the best in the Midwest.
Best in the Midwest, hands down.
Lance, you can own that shit?
I'm the best producer at this table right now.
That is not a fallacy right
That's
there.
That's right. That's 100% accurate. Yes.
No, but how have you guys known each other for a while?
The funny thing is like we both were doing like wedding gigs to get by, like make ends meet. And we met at a Nicollet Island Pavilion wedding, and I'm just like, man, this DJ guy is really just a good dude. And like then I found out he was producing one of my favorite records, Rogue Valley. Record that was about to come out. One of my favorite bands on here is Rogue Valley, and I found out you were working on it. And then I was like, "Oh, that's really sweet." And then we like didn't do anything. And like a couple years later, I had this licensing opportunity, and I was like, "Lance, I think this is the best opportunity for us to get started working together." And I reached out to you, and we chatted, and that's what started everything.
What was that?
That was Artlist, man.
Oh, right.
That was the Artlist thing. getting these big checks for like folks that make videos and like that. You license your money to them, and then they promote it online, and you can make some really good money doing that in the music business for sure.
Was Lance hitting you with high rates early on?
Lance was like 20,000 per note, actually. Not even per track. No, he was cool, man.
I got bills, yeah.
Yeah. Lance is like not. I mean, what I love about you is you're super laid back. You're not all about the business. The music is the primary, most important part of it. I think business is secondary. Would you say that's accurate?
That's what I portray.
That's what you portray. You're just a really mental wizard ninja. Yeah. That makes me think that, and then I end up paying double, and I'm like, but he cares about the music, man. He loves the music.
First, I hook you. I draw you in with my charisma.
You are a complicated spider, my friend.
And just when I have your heart wrapped around.
You are an arachnid, the likes of which I've never met. I've only realized it now. We're realizing things. Epiphanies are happening.
That's a trippy web that man's spinning.
Gosh, man alive. I don't know what to do.
So when you guys met on what island?
Nicollet Island. So just kind of, where the heck is that from here?
This is one of the islands.
It's one of the islands in Minneapolis. It's down by St. Anthony, Maine. Yeah. I don't know. I was a ceremony musician. He was DJing because we were just getting by.
And that's what I want to get into.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you heard this goofball singing?
Yeah, what did you think, Lance?
Did your ears perk up at all?
First, I heard everybody raving about this guy that I hadn't heard yet.
Oh.
And
Oh, okay.
And I was thinking to myself, let me be the judge.
Yeah.
I hear this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And then it only takes a couple of seconds to realize, oh yeah, there's a difference between somebody who's crafted a skill
Oh, thanks, man.
and someone who's just naturally talented. You can just hear that right away.
Yeah.
I'm so talented.
So it took 2 seconds, a couple seconds.
Nah, dude, yeah. And I just like, with Lance, I had no idea that like, this was just his like side gig that he was doing to make extra cash, but I just connected with him on like a human level first. It's like, this guy's awesome. Because normally when you have a DJ and like he's giving you extra stuff for your setup, like he'll just like mope about it and he'll make it seem like it's something that like he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
But like you were like going above and beyond. You're just like, nah, man, whatever you need, it's no problem. I'll go get this, I'll go get that. And I was just like, man, who is this guy and why is he in such a good mood? Like whatever he's taking, I need some of that, you know?
Because I do music for a living, man.
Yeah, we kind of won the lottery, didn't we? It doesn't suck doing music for a living. Even when it sucks, it doesn't suck. And the funny part about it is like I'm probably at like the most successful point in my whole career, and still I think the most fun I ever had was at the least successful point in my career when I was like in a van with my best friends, eating off the dollar menu because it's all we could afford, playing teen centers in like Shakopee for like 8 kids, and like nobody cared. That was like the best time, even though like the quote unquote success comes later on, you know? I think the best time is when you don't know what it is yet. You know, there's that mystery.
You're still ignorant.
Yeah.
You're not tainted yet.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty when you have someone like Lance who's willing to go above and beyond, who can still keep that high spirit. Because we've all seen those quote unquote wedding DJs where they're just, man, they lost.
Yeah.
They lost in life.
Yeah.
Even they might be controlling the airwaves that night, but they lost.
Yeah.
And you can just tell in their demeanor.
Yeah.
You know, the ones who keep the high spirit, stay positive, are willing to unconditionally give. That's how I know you've won in life, because you're still rocking.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Are we on the radio?
No.
No, we're just podcasting, man. Sorry about that.
Who you got tonight?
Well, we're Iowa people, but it's got to be
Iowans? Oh, shit. The Iowans showed up. Oh, hide your cousins. The Iowans showed up.
There you go, the hot guys. Right on, man.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Damn.
Have a good one.
So you're on the Jason show? Next year.
Yeah.
So you're on the Jason show this morning?
Jason's show this morning. Twin Cities Live was last Friday, and then we are at WCCO and K-Fan on Wednesday, trying to pump this Varsity Theater show.
When's that?
That's Friday night.
This Friday?
This Friday, April 12th. Kat Perkins from The Voice is going to be in on the show, Jen Bostic from Nashville, and then me with my 9-piece band in video backdrops and light show and the whole deal. Going from the pop to the acoustic, back to the pop again, kind of.
Let's get it, dude.
Yeah. Are you in town?
I've got a gala on Friday.
Oh, dang.
And then I've got a dance competition on Saturday.
Where's the gala, in Rochester?
Yeah. It's
on,
the
man.
opening for the brand new Hilton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I got invited by the Chamber of Commerce.
Nice.
Yeah, so
You
we're
better
there
go to
rocking.
that.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
I just got a new jacket, so I have to
Nice.
go. It's like this freaking flamboyant flower jacket. I'm gonna rock the shit out of that, Lance.
Yes, you should.
Have you ever turned down an invite to a gala, Lance? You can't. Anytime
No.
anybody invites you to a gala of any kind, you got to go. You got to go.
I think every gala I've ever been to, I've DJ'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you could say I don't go to galas unless I get paid.
Yep,
to go.
absolutely.
That's me too.
It's funny because I turned down a gala a week. It seems like.
Oh,
Fuck,
yeah,
fuck
man.
that, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, dude. You
got so many
Stop
galas.
it. Stop it. So many galas.
What are the?
That's how I knew they were phony when I started finding out that you call them galas, not
Yeah.
galas.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, wait a minute.
What is
I've
going
been
on?
lied to.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate on your podcast. Nobody can see the expressions you're making with your face. You're very expressive. It's that part of it is lost in the only audio format.
No,
you
but
know?
I think like you get to a point where you start realizing what's really important.
Yeah.
Your family.
Yeah.
Your friends. Your craft.
Yeah.
And then like when you're confident in what you do.
Yeah.
That's where it's like I don't need to circle jerk.
Yeah.
I've already made it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm already confident enough
Yeah.
to be able to say no, and that's been a big motivator for me my last year after we pulled off some big things where it's like, bro, you know what? Less is more.
Yes.
Less is more.
Minimalism.
Minimalism.
Yeah.
Thank God to What's Her Name on Netflix taught me how
Yeah.
to fold my shirts properly, roll them up, and freaking pack away, dog.
That's right. No, it's true because you kind of realize how formulaic everything is and like how money drives everything. And you're just like, you want to think it's like this beautiful thing that there's a lot of natural accidents that happen out there. But like, once I kind of learned how everything works, I'm like, oh, everything kind of does happen for a reason. And usually that reason is money. Yep. So the only thing that I can control in my life that is truly real is my family and my friends and my experiences. So by isolating yourself from that system of how money kind of governs everything, I think you win. You win at life. If you realize that's the way that it all goes and you isolate yourself from that and say, I'm going to make it about what I experience and surround myself with the people that I love, you know?
Not to mention, man, we're in the day of oversaturation.
Yeah.
So let's be honest, bro. Like when you see, it's the glimmer isn't there when you see the same face all the time.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that especially scrolling down Facebook,
Oh,
Instagram,
man.
Twitter. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I see you all the time.
Yeah.
The glimmer's gone because your hand has been played.
Yeah.
I like the Dwayne The Rock Johnsons.
Yeah.
Who dip their toes in,
Yeah.
step away.
Yeah.
He might be all over the place, but that's just because he works hard. He does a lot.
Yeah.
But he doesn't give you all the goods all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. Like acts
Yeah.
that come around once a year, once every other year. That's how I know they're really doing it because they're out on the road getting it,
Yeah.
going to different markets once a year.
Yeah.
Our favorite comedians, we were just talking about Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
Theo was here last August. We're hopefully bringing him back this August.
Oh, I hope so, man.
And
That guy is
I wouldn't
funny.
do it. I wouldn't do it if he was here 2 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago. It's just
If
saturated.
he comes back, you're going, Lance. You don't have a choice in the matter. You have to go see him.
I will laugh.
You will laugh.
Why is
Yeah.
Lance a tough nut to crack?
I don't know, man. I don't know your sense of humor entirely yet. You know, but I'm working on it.
I have all of the senses of humor.
All six senses
five of
humor.
them,
Yeah,
all six of them.
Oh man.
There's
Yeah,
a
right. Why did I
seventh
say
one.
six? Because I was thinking of the sixth sense. I was thinking of the
Yeah.
dead, seeing dead people. I shouldn't
as
think
long
about
as
that.
it's not offensive,
Yeah.
or insensitive towards.
Oh my God! Be careful, man.
Fucking
All great
A.
comedy
I
is,
mean-
is kind of offensive and insensitive to a degree. That's what makes it like there's a shock value to it. Like the Chappelle stuff, like from his special, where he just like,
He'll be
I don't
here
know.
Sunday. Chappelle
Yeah.
will be here Sunday.
Oh, yeah?
Sunday through Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
yeah,
I mean, I love Chappelle, but if he says anything else that's transphobic or homophobic, I turn it off.
You
All
turn
right.
it off.
yeah.
And it'll probably take a while. It'll take some convincing
Yeah.
to get me to turn him back on.
Yeah.
But do you think he really thinks those things? Because I think a lot of these comedians are characters,
I don't know.
man, and they know what gets a reaction. It's more about getting a reaction than it is about stating your political or moral beliefs.
No one knows.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one knows. I would have to sit down with the guy and find out.
Right,
There's so
right.
much noise online.
Yeah.
Because everybody has an opinion about the things
Yeah.
that people say.
Yeah.
Unless I hear it directly from their mouths, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge.
Oh, I want to jump back though. When you talked about like social media and scrolling, I'm like, And we're not even getting those people's like truest energy. We're getting their representative, you know? And like I talked to a buddy recently on the phone. I hadn't talked to him in years. And I'm like, oh man, I follow you on social media. Like everything seems to be going really well. And I found out like he had been in the hospital. Like he almost died. Like there was crazy. They went through things with his wife. Like they had gone through like a miscarriage and like all of these things that by just following people on social media, you get their best moments, you get their representative, you don't get their true life. And that's why it's important to pick up the phone and see people in person and sit down with them and be like, what's really going on? You know?
We see that with people who go live all the time.
Yeah.
So they oversaturate themselves by going live.
Yeah.
And it's always surfaced.
Yeah.
It's never the goods.
Yeah.
I do this thing called Mental Health Monday.
Yeah.
Where we just get down to the nitty gritty, real 100%.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll skip Mondays because I started getting death threats by being kind of overly real, where it's like, no, let's get down to it.
Yeah.
Because a week before Get Me Gary V, one of my good friends killed himself.
Oh.
And that was something that he is a statistic, okay? Because let's be honest, white males are offing themselves left and right nowadays.
Yeah.
People don't want to talk about what's really causing it.
Yeah.
The fact that we are leading these surface lives. Males, more than ever, aren't allowed to get real.
Yeah.
You're A or B. There is no in between. Yeah. The in between is the guts. That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Where we shouldn't be afraid to go seek help.
Yeah.
To seek therapy.
Right.
Especially as males, white males. We are the statistic that's killing ourselves.
Yeah.
So why don't we get down to it?
And killing other people.
And killing, there you go.
Right.
And killing other people.
Right.
So that screams mental health disorder right there.
Yeah.
And we all have some sort of it. It's some of us, we release it through our art.
Yeah.
Let's not act like we're not lunatics. We are.
Totally.
In our own way.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
But the beauty of, that's why I really tap into your song Home. You just
thanks,
get
man.
real.
Yeah.
You get real, and you got record execs who, no, you need to water it down.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, man, that's not me.
Yeah.
I won't sacrifice my soul so I can fit your bill.
Right.
Get my drift?
Yeah.
And that's what's lacking with humanity right now, where marriages at an all-time high, divorce.
Yeah.
Well, there was never a time where they took the time to get real with one another earlier rather than later.
Yep.
When strings are all unattached and jumbled and out of wedlock.
Yeah.
You know, pun intended.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why I really kind of dive into artists as a whole. Our boy, I don't know if you know the boys at Yam House.
Yeah, they've been coming up a lot because I just performed on Jason's show. Yeah, and he said that my performance and Yam Houses were his two favorite.
There we go, bro, and that's why you guys you guys in Casanova have become my local guilty pleasures. Yeah, and I had a conversation with Lars. And we really got deep into faith and spirituality. Yeah. Right. And that's something where, why can't that be talked about? Yeah. Because I'm not a religious folk, but the thing is I grew up in it, and I think it's beautiful.
Me too.
And I think faith, unconditional faith, is just as beautiful as someone who only goes to church on Sundays, but they beat their wives on Mondays. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, let's not get it twisted here. Yeah. You know, and it's time to get real kind of with how we're thinking and why we think the way we think.
Mental health is the biggest thing for me. And like a phenomenon that I've realized is like at what is sometimes should be my happiest points are when depression and anxiety hit the most. Mm-hmm. Like I recently was like, I don't have anything to worry about. On paper, my life looks perfect. I get to live my dream. I get to play music, but I'll have such low moments that I can't really trace to anything. And I think the only thing that makes that better is talking to people and understanding that there are other people battling that also. That makes it much more manageable. You know, The Rock Johnson also said that he battles depression and stuff like that. And then there's a HBO doc, One Nation Under Stress, that just came out.
Just watched
about deaths of despair. Like how we are a country that has 5% of the population of the world, and we're consuming 80 to 90% of the opioids that exist. And we're trying to medicate this sort of pain, and we don't know what it is. And I think a big part of it is just not talking about it, because it's the rich neighborhoods. It's the rich housewives popping pills because you got to keep up appearances. Don't keep up appearances. People are always taken aback by how real I can be. Like, I'll meet somebody and immediately be letting them behind the curtain, and that's just the way that I am. And I think that's an important part of it.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta did an incredible job with that documentary.
Yeah.
And he is one that I think should be relied upon if we're going to go mainstream.
Yeah.
He's one voice that should be relied upon because he just gets down to the nitty gritty. He doesn't have a dog in the fight. He just tells it like it is, and he actually does the research. He dives in. He goes to these communities in Pittsburgh that lose their jobs.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're broke losing their steel manufacturing jobs. It's that they lost their purpose.
Yeah.
And that was a big point he made in
their
that
identity.
documentary.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, if you lose your voice, there goes your purpose out the window.
Yeah.
What's next? You better start painting. Old Jim Carrey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had to redefine himself to be happy.
I just quoted him this morning on that interview because, like, he had that great quote that was like an absolute like epiphany moment for me, where he said, "My dad hated his job and he went to work every day, and then he got fired from this job that he hated, and it just launched him in this depression." And Jim says how I say Jim like I know him, and Jim Carrey says like, I realized in that moment that you can fail at something you don't love, and there's nothing worse than that. So why not fail at something you love? It's so much, like, life is short. Fail at something you love to do, because I don't know. It just made so much sense to me. So I quoted that. Yeah, just today. He's a wise guy. Some of these comedians are very, like, they make people laugh, but they're very thoughtful guys. Yeah.
They have depths to them. They have very deep depths to them.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
She got really real, man. Like, because one of the big talking points about her was her weight.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, this is me.
Yeah.
What the hell? And the beauty of comedians is they're vulnerable on stage. They have to just get down to it.
Yep.
They're the white elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And look at me, mother sucker. I might as well be honest. Ali Wong, another female version.
Yeah.
Where, bro, she had the, pun intended, kahunas to hop on stage pregnant, talk about her past of being promiscuous while she's got her husband at home watching the special.
Wouldn't be easy.
Pregnant with his child.
Yeah.
But that's vulnerability.
Yeah.
And that's what I've realized with doing Mental Health Mondays, where it's being 100% vulnerable to the point where people actually, they reach out to you when you don't do it.
Yeah.
When you miss a day.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, I need that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you were paying attention.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Same thing if I travel and I don't upload an episode for a week or two, people are on me.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's cool. Same thing with when
Your
I don't.
medication, man.
It is, but when I don't see you releasing new music, I have to reach out.
Yeah.
And say, bro, I need a hit.
Well, the greatest fear is that nobody would reach out, right? Like that what you're doing has no impact, and that nobody would care. So it's just that reminder of, like, there's somebody out there that needs this, and that's what pushes us onward, in any creative art form.
Do you get post-show depression?
Yes. Like, or anytime you, like, are doing anything where you just kind of, like, walk out of the room without having, like, a human interaction. Sometimes you'd be like, oh, like, I've been getting these really good corporate gigs recently, and there's something about, even when you get paid really, really well, if nobody kind of took you aside afterwards and let you know that they appreciated it, if you just pack your stuff up and don't make contact with anyone and you go, I just gotten in my car sometimes, just been like, man, that was sad. Like, it's just really, really sad. And I would rather have played a gig for little money where I felt like it was soul fulfilling to some folks out there, or it made a difference or made an impact. So you can't do too many of those gigs in a row, because there's, like, a lot of that crowd when you're doing the corporate stuff is people that feel entitled to the work, or aren't looking to connect with it. It's just something in the background. It's seasoning,
That's where podunk bar gigs are some of the most fulfilling.
Yeah, because you could really have an impact sometimes, especially if it's like someone where, like, that's what I always say to people. It's like, don't look at the gig at where there's only 4 people in the audience as such a negative. You could have such a deeper impact on those 4 than you could if there were 4,000. Yeah. You could have an incredibly superficial interaction. You could know everything about these 4 folks by the end of the show, and you could keep in touch with them for the rest of your life if you looked at it that way. Yeah. I mean, provided they're not total jerks, right?
That's why I like I asked, because we've all seen Behind the Music, and some of these comedians share it with about their life as well. When the lights go off, that's when reality kicks in.
You get to your hotel room. That's like the ultimate, where it's just like you made a room full of people so happy, you almost feel like there's going to be some, like, velvet curtain that you pull behind. It's not. You end up alone in a hotel room in a city that you don't know super well a lot of the time. That's why I have a lot of respect for people that can do the road and just for like, in and out. You have to love your art form so much to be able to confront the loneliness of after the show.
Ooh, something about clean hotel rooms that creep me out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll be on the road and I'll be like, dude, I need to FaceTime my wife and daughter right now.
It's devoid of character. Of all character. It's a sanitized world, you know? So
maybe that's why Motley Crue always demolish their rooms.
I just watched
to start.
that too. Did you watch that? Did you watch that, Lance?
I haven't seen that, but I get
Lance,
it. I get it.
you would pass so much judgment on that docudrama, bro.
Dude, there's some moments, man. There's some moments. Well, especially when Ozzy snorts a line of ants and then like drinks the urine next to the pool. Oh my God. It's pretty brutal. I shouldn't. Spoiler alert.
I can't wait.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Just put that part on repeat. It's gonna be amazing.
It's badass, but that's what I like.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be all glitz and glam. I want the grit.
Well, the very opening scene where he's just like, check this out, fountain. You know, I'm not going to spoil that, but even the opening scene of the movie is pretty awe-striking, I guess.
Now, let's be honest. Okay, so you are playing a gig, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bar gig.
Yeah.
And you just see some outlandish shit where girl pukes over here, and next girl who didn't see her puke comes, slips on it, falls on her ass faster than a bitch who sat down too fast.
Yeah.
And then you got a corporate gig on the flip side.
Yeah.
Everyone's all bougie, dressed like a gala, you know, and it's like, ha ha ha, chum it up. You're going to leave stage and you're just going to dip out.
Yeah.
After you pack your stuff up. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
What's more fulfilling, the story you got from option A or just the cliche from option B?
Well, the funny thing about it is I used to play this little bar in St. Cloud every Tuesday night called the Pickled Loon. And it was my one gig because it was like a couple miles from my house. I could Uber home. I could really let loose. Drink, all this amazing stuff was happening in Poland. This song goes #1, and everyone's like, oh, well, you got to be done with all those types of gigs. It was like a month that went by. I got so sad, and I was like, I have to go back and play this little gig at the Pickle Loon where I can let loose. I can see some crazy stuff. Everybody's going to drink way too much. Like, there is an absolute, I don't know what the word is. There's a mystique to that where it's just like, I'm okay, you're okay kind of thing, and we're all on the same level. I got tired of walking into rooms where I'm entertainment guy, I'm on the stage, I'm here, you're you. In that room, we were all one. Yep. Like I was just trying to have fun with everybody else. The only difference is I had a guitar and a microphone. Yep. So I think sometimes when you can remove the distance between you and the audience, that's something that performers crave, and a reason why when they get too big, they have these crises and they want to go back to play those small rooms before the fame and adoration came along.
That's why I envy the Justin Biebers of the world and the Dave Chappelles of the world, speak of the devil, because they got out while the getting was still good.
Yeah.
They stepped away to refine themselves.
Sure.
To understand what really makes their clock tick.
Yeah.
That way, when they come back, they're not oversaturated.
You got to get out of that vortex. That is a vortex, man. Like, and I remember I listened to a podcast. It was Bill Simmons was interviewing Scooter Braun. And he manages like Kanye West and Justin Bieber. And he asked him the question, he's like, why are these super famous people some of the most profoundly depressed? And he said, because I think, and this was Scooter's answer, but it doesn't go for everybody, but his answer was, I think it's because as human beings, we're hardwired to give and serve each other. That's why we're on the planet, is to give and serve. And these folks are just absorbing praise and adoration with no outlet to fully give it back. And it makes them so isolated. And he's like, you'll never see a Fortune 500, or you'll see a Fortune 500 CEO jump out of a building and die, and we're not surprised. He's like, you won't see a volunteer at a soup kitchen that kills themselves because they're getting what they need. They're serving their fellow man or woman. And I think that's so telling of why fame can be careful what you wish for kind of scenario.
How many producers have you gone through?
I love the rush of it. Lance is kind of the only one that I've felt the need to I'm like, this guy's going to probably be part of everything I do going forward, because each producer before was like taking a hit of something. Like, oh, that's what you do. Oh, that's what you do. I want to experience a new one. Whereas like the stuff he's doing, it finally got to be like the sound in my head where I was like, I don't want to try something different, because for one thing, you can kind of do any style. And for another thing, I was like, when you get what you envision, it's hard to want to be like, oh, I'm going to just break the puzzle up again and start over. Like, no, this is what I've always wanted. Like, let's keep running in this direction. But I don't know, probably 10 or 15, that I've worked with. Local folks. I've worked with one Nashville producer, and I'll be going out to work with one in LA at some point this next year. So, but he belongs in Nashville, New York, or LA. So I'm just fortunate that he's here and that I can work with him directly for the time being. I don't know. We'll see.
I asked
I'm
because
a team player.
That's right.
I'm on your team, man.
That's
I'm
right,
not going
man.
anywhere.
And it
Love
really, that's kind of why I asked, because having been there, you kind of, as you recycle through, it's the ones that you have symbiosis with.
Yeah.
That you stick around with, and it's a deeper connection.
Right.
It's family, no longer coworkers.
Yeah.
Do you guys kind of feel that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say so, for sure. Like,
I don't think I work with anybody that I can't imagine having dinner with in my own home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool way to think about it. Yeah. I like that.
Would you cut a steak with them?
Oh, for sure. Even though I'm trying to go like vegan.
Are you?
Yeah. Do you have any theories on all that shit?
Yeah. So have you ever done it?
I've been doing I'm not like super strict with it, but I've been just cutting way back on like my meat and dairy. Because I listened to his book on tape called How to Not Die. And then his grandma was like 65, went in, they said she had cardiovascular disease. She had 3 months to live. Then she just went to a plant-based doctor, and she ended up living to be 96.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is you go down to the root cause of everything.
Yeah.
Inflammation.
Yeah.
Go down to what causes inflammation.
Yeah.
Shit. Processed foods, dairy, over alcohol, too much caffeine.
Right.
Things that mess up our gut.
Yeah.
And that's what I read, The Clean Gut, and it just made so much sense that 99% of disease comes from, bro, you can even temper and basically rid yourself of AIDS if you have AIDS just by reducing inflammation in your body, going to a clean plant-based diet, and then it's almost like you don't have it. Same thing with cancer.
Diabetes, too.
Diabetes. You can reverse diabetes.
Yeah.
The same thing. That's
nobody expects you to modify your behavior. That's the problem. Doctors just prescribe you stuff. They don't ever give you like, hey, if you did this kind of approach to it. Yeah.
The reason why I ask if you've ever tried it, if you give it 7 to 10 just strict days, you'd notice this mental clarity.
Yeah, your
that comes
gut to your
through.
brain
It's just
connection.
incredible.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
No, and I had like a burger, like a cheeseburger after doing, and like I had a buddy that articulated well. He's like, it becomes your new normal when you're in the midst of dairy and meat and whatever. But he's like, if you get away from it for a while and then you come back to it, you literally will realize how terrible it is for your body, because you'll start to get like just absolute pains that you didn't know were there. It becomes your new normal, but then when you get out of the vortex, you're good. Yeah.
You keep bringing up the vortex, and I love it because I just got back from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And bro, Los Angeles has a vortex to it. I like to dip my toes in there.
Yeah, and then get out.
Oh, and get out, dude, because I feel bad for people that get sucked in, because it's almost like they're mentally tainted.
Are you worried about this? Because this is where you want to. This is where Lance wants to be. End up is a producer in LA. And my wife was worried about you. She's like, Lance doesn't seem like the LA guy.
LA is a big city.
Yeah, it's all in the pocket that you're in.
There.
So many
There
nice
are
people
a lot
too.
of great people there.
And it's like you're
And
foreign.
You can very easily be selective about who you're hanging out with.
Right. Because just like anywhere else.
The majority of the people there are extremely nice, and it's actually what I came across was you were a foreigner if you were from there.
Yeah.
So many of the people were from the Midwest. They're from
all
Colorado,
transplants.
Seattle. They're transplants.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. Where I envy the people who can create their life here and have a second location out there where you got a condo with your partner.
Yeah.
And you guys go out there for 3 months, come back.
Right.
To sanity.
Yeah.
Get back out there, get to work, come back.
Yeah.
But at the time, you start building up this momentum that you just need to be out there. It's just going.
Well, when you know that you belong out there, or that you I guess you're experiencing the LA that I love when you're not finding yourself in West Hollywood. You're not finding yourself on the pier. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You're not in Venice.
Yep.
You're in the suburbs. You're in somebody's house, right? In a writing session.
Right.
Out in the valley, or you're in Glendale or something.
Right.
So those are the places where I find myself. I don't find myself in Hollywood.
losing track of the days, not even knowing what day it is because you've just had your head down on the grindstone and you don't even know what the Staples Center is telling you to look at.
Right.
You know?
It's just where the people are that
that are at the height of your profession.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to inspire you to raise your game even further, being in that environment. I get it.
Yeah. Do you guys have certain places or certain locations that really push your creative energy?
I'm probably the opposite of you. Like, for me to be the most creative, I want to get out of Dodge. I want to go to a remote barn in the middle of the Midwest somewhere where there's nobody around. And there I feel capable of, like, transcending the work that I'm able to do when I feel like I'm just like another ant on the anthill trying to make this climb in music. If I can isolate myself from it, I feel like that brings out my best creativity and can almost bring out different sides of me that I didn't even know were there. Whereas I think other people, when you're around everybody that's doing what you do, and there's that natural raising of your game that takes place, I'm kind of the opposite, where I'm just like, well, if there's so many people doing it, what makes me special? Whereas if I can get out there next to a body of water in the middle of nowhere, I'm like, it's not even about competing, it's about just really getting in touch with, that's my reason for creating, is trying to get in touch with me more so than like compete. I don't like the feeling of competing all the time.
How about you, Lance?
I used to be like that.
Yeah.
Temperamental. Always needing a little distractions or something to kind of keep me going, or I need a little nip of a whiskey, or I need a certain place or a certain time of day, and no, not anymore. I don't know. I just do it. After 15, 20 years, waking up every day and just making music, I guess my environment doesn't really even faze me anymore. I'm always making, always creating.
You're right. Environment independent. You could be like a friggin' meteor headed toward this place right now. It's like, no problem. Let's make an EDM banger.
But I'll follow you out to that cabin. That sounds nice. I love doing that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I feel comfortable writing anywhere, anytime. I get up early and I'll stay up late.
Wait till you have some kids,
vessel.
man. My son probably kicked me 14 times awake last night in the stretch of 7 hours. I used to be that way. I was up till 4 a.m. I would create all day, every day. And now having 2 kids and a wife to keep happy and all these bills to pay and paying the IRS next week for my yearly income. Oh man, now it's like it's become economizing the moment, like trying to maximize the most out of smaller time windows. Like that's become my art form, is trying to somehow turn what used to be a 12-hour session into 3 hours while my son is asleep taking a nap, kind of thing.
Got to cram it in. That's me.
Yeah.
My emails get sent out 8 to 10 in the morning. If you didn't get a response, then chances are good you'll get it the next day, 8 to 10 in the morning. When my daughter
start doing stuff like that. That's
see,
genius.
and that's the thing. So like, I have a 1-year-old daughter. So right now, our life is still pretty regimented. But it's very tough because, bro, I'm already a subcontractor, a freelancer who just dropped off my check to the IRS this morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
we're enslaved to the day in, day out, hour by hour grind when you have kids.
Yeah.
It was a paradigm shift for me because I was a free agent. Lance, I could just maneuver. I didn't have, I was married, but I could just maneuver. My wife would let me get away with murder. The next, I could fly out whenever I wanted to.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point when you get that plus sign.
Yeah.
Get that plus sign, and then you fail to realize until the baby comes, you're like, oh, shit. Because then the first 3 months, Lance, wife's at home with the baby. You can still maneuver around a little bit. You just got more pressure at home.
Yeah, and you feel like you're abandoning your post sometimes. It never used to be hard for me to load up the gear in the car and go to a gig. And then when he got my son, beautiful little boy, or my daughter pounding on the window as I'm going, I'm like, I'm abandoning my post as a father. That's how it feels sometimes.
That's how it feels when I leave the studio and I leave my little profit in the studio. I feel like I'm abandoning my studio. I need to go back.
Your APIs?
My little babies.
My APIs, my Chandlers, my Empirical Lab distressors.
Yeah,
they need
baby.
me.
But that still is your equipment's your baby.
Yeah.
Do you kind of get giddy when you upgrade?
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like an addict. I do it every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
if I'm right in the middle of doing something important and I get an email about some update, I drop everything and I update.
I don't know
this.
I gotta hear this thing.
They fixed a bug.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? They
You
fixed
are
a
the
bug?
truest nerd. I'm so validated.
I'm sorry,
in
Mom. I
believing in
can't
you right
make it
now.
to the hospital. I hope you recover.
There's got a bug fix coming.
So do you use Native Instruments?
Yes, I do.
Do you love like Native Instrument updates?
I love all of the things.
Yeah, all of the things.
Native Instruments is full of updates.
Yes.
You could spend a lifetime just installing and updating.
Yes. Contact and Native Instruments, and I don't know, like, there's Contact, there's Native Instruments, and I don't know where one ceases to be the other, but I just try to do my best.
There's so many tools and only so much time.
Yeah.
And
That's
only
true.
so many songs that you can make. There are far more tools than we ever need.
So many sounds, dude. So many plugins.
Yes.
That just makes awesome even more awesome.
But here's the thing, though. Like, before I had those options, I would just create.
Uh-huh.
And my economy as far as creation was so much higher. Now when I have thousands of choices in every possible aspect, I will sometimes just go out and like pull up a keyboard sound, and I'll spend like 2 hours just going through sounds, and I will have accomplished nothing. So like you can get paralyzed by choice. I was always the person who would go in the grocery store and I'm like, why is there like 30 different kinds of hot dogs? Just give me one choice. I will grab the hot dogs, put it in my cart.
No. You can't look at it like that. You have to look at it like it's an investment of
right
your
now.
time.
Okay.
You are indexing those sounds.
Yeah.
And they live in your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And someday in the future,
Yeah.
you'll remember that there was this one sound you heard, and you'll find it.
Oh man, you're validating all my time wasting. I'm gonna tell my wife that. I'm just banking this for years down the road. Although it's true though, like I was listening to
some truth to that.
Questlove and Rick Rubin just did a podcast, and it was amazing to listen to. And they were talking about how when they made that D'Angelo Voodoo record, and like they'd be in the studio watching videos of other performers for like most of the day, and almost spent no time in the actual audio aspect of it. And they're like, no, we're stacking up inspiration. This is all part of the process. And the work speaks for itself. It's all part of it. Like even when you take that break to watch Theo Von's comedy special on Netflix, that's all part of the process. It can't just be balls to the walls all the time. It doesn't work.
That's why I write off things like going to the movies.
Yeah.
Not just going to music concerts.
Yeah.
Going to the ballet. Doing
Yeah.
this. These are all artistic, inspirational activities that
Take you out of your
that
mindset.
absolutely are essential for any creator.
When you realize you're a creative vessel,
Yeah.
you can grab influence from anywhere. That's why I like public speakers.
Yeah.
Just kicking off my day. I don't always listen to like a Gary Vee or Tony Robbins, but when I do, I know I'm doing it at the perfect moment.
Yeah.
And it grabs me and it sends me on my way.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, it's on to go write this.
Yeah.
It's on to go do this.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, because we can grab influence from anywhere, especially when you're a creative vessel, because that's what you are. You are a vessel. Jim Carrey, for instance, he was a vessel with acting and performance, and now he is an artiste.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Right.
It doesn't discriminate.
Right.
Creativity does not.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's great.
And the funny thing is with Native Instruments, when you spent that 2 hours, 8 hours
Yeah.
just going over one riff and tapping new sounds onto it, there's an update.
There's more sounds. I can't handle it.
No more lag doors.
That's great. Man.
So do you guys kind of like find yourself kind of going back to square one though, where it's like, okay, no, let's bring it back acoustic, and then I might throw one plug in on.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like I made myself writer's block proof. Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Damn, you better find some wood real quick, right behind you, bro. There we go.
By learning, so I started out by playing acoustic guitars in open tunings, so that's a place I can go. Then acoustic guitar in standard tuning, then all these production elements, and then supplementing it by playing keyboards so I can get my simple melody ideas out. And I also get inspired by like drum loops or simple rhythmic ideas. So by insulating myself that way with all these different things that I find inspiration in, like if I there's times where I want to smash the guitar, I'm like, I've explored all these options, but then it's another place to go. There's another place to go.
Do you ever use MIDI to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of guitarists just use MIDI and then try to match it on the back end.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
There's actually, there's like little wireless systems you can use to make your guitar into MIDI now, and it just shows up the notes on the screen the same way a keyboard would.
Yeah.
It's nuts where technology's going.
Oh yeah. I've been bombarded by these ads about a new microphone converter.
Oh, is it so? If you sing,
just so you can beatbox and it'll just translate it directly into
that'd
MIDI.
be oh man, if that's out there, I would love that because I have a lot of melody ideas. I can sing.
You can sing,
but it takes me a lot of time to learn how to play it on various things. Sometimes
it's out there.
All right,
You can get these are Rode Procasters.
Yeah.
They're Rode Procaster MIDI mics.
Yeah.
So you can just plug them right into your computer, and then it's
those things. So you can make MIDI notes.
It's
with these?
HDMI, so it plugs right into the side of your computer,
Yeah.
and then I'm sure you could attach that to the program you got.
What happens if you're off key though? Like if you don't sing perfectly on, does it just go to the nearest note?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right on.
It'll quantize it.
Okay.
So to match, we used to basically transcribe songs. So we would plug a song into auto-tune.
Yeah.
And then it would give us basically the complete breakdown. Then we go into MIDI,
Yeah.
kind of copycat the song.
Yeah.
And that's how me and my producers would just get good at making music in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I'm still the third best producer at this table, but fuck it, dude. But when you put the time in the studio,
Yeah.
in the sweaty ass garages that you don't belong in,
Yeah.
that's where it's those hours that
Yes.
make you long term.
And it's when you get really complicated with shit and you think that's the answer to like your problems is to like impress other musicians, the more that you're able to add to your arsenal, that's when you realize how to dial it back to what it should be. Because eventually like you start to learn stuff and you're like, oh, I want to impress people with it. But then once you have that palette, that's when you can start dialing it back to like the stuff you were trying to do early on that you couldn't execute in the right way now that you can do it that way because you have the ability to pull it back. That's when I think that's the key as a musician when you're like, I've settled back into myself. I went outside of myself and now I'm going to come back to that original person with the information that I have now.
That's full circle, square one. Kiss theory, baby.
Yeah,
Keep
baby.
it simple, stupid.
Love it.
Let's go into our saddest day of the studio ever.
Saddest day ever.
I'll tell you mine first.
Okay.
And it was after a 10-hour session.
Yeah.
Sweaty ass midsummer.
Yeah.
Our the whole day, the whole week, our MacBook was overheating. So we got a piece of cardboard. We went down to the local Quick Trip, grabbed a bag of ice.
Yeah.
We brought it, we wrapped it, and then we put it underneath the cardboard, and then we stacked the MacBook on the cardboard. It fried it in a matter of like 45 minutes. The copper wiring inside got fried.
Oh.
So we bring it down to the Apple store like 10 minutes before they closed. They gave us the bad news. And right there, we were halfway through this album called Gonzo. We had to restart from scratch, everything.
Oh, no.
We already, you might be halfway through, but you've already recorded 40 songs. You know what I'm saying? And that was probably my saddest day ever in the studio because we had put 1,000 hours so far this summer into the session, and it just happened, bro. And it was like, why? You're so caught up on getting the job done that you cut corners, and that's what we freaking did, bro. We cut a corner, and it was a stupid mistake. How about you, Lance? Sad.
I learned from other people's misfortune.
Yeah.
I keep lots of backups.
There you go.
I sent a screenshot to one of my friends out in LA of my desktop with all of my backup drives, and
Smart, though.
They just laughed. They just laughed.
Does it like automatically update like as soon as you close because I always like I have the thing that can make the backup, but I forget to back it up.
Even my backup drives have backups. I call them archives.
You have to, bro.
There are multiple layers, and those are all RAIDs, so they're mirrored. So if half of the RAID goes out, there's a mirror on the other side.
Yeah.
And I still haven't done the cloud backup thing yet, just because the files are so huge.
Yeah.
I do work with a company that has a nice little fancy server, and I'm not ready to invest in that yet. I don't know. Maybe when I feel like I'm settled somewhere.
Yeah.
But
your sad day, I feel like I know what it is. But go ahead. Well, you had a studio just pulled out from underneath you.
That's true. I did. I had a studio. Yeah, my studio that I built with my own two hands. I was, very emotionally connected to this studio, and I was getting ready to take it over, to finally purchase it, and to kind of remodel it, take it to the next level, pour a bunch of capital into my business, and really ramp things up, and then the guy who I thought was my friend did a 180 behind my back and sold it to somebody else after promising it to me, actually after officially signing a purchase agreement with me.
Oh, shit.
So it was a legal nightmare, and it was also just kind of a traumatic experience, but it was an incredible learning opportunity and, an opportunity for me to grow, not just as as a producer and businessman, but as a human being. That was just a year ago. And amazing things. I've had an incredible year. It literally has been the most productive year my entire life. I didn't realize it while it was happening. It was like a storm, a storm of writing, and now I look at the number of songs that I produced in the last year, and it blows my mind.
Yeah,
right. So I don't know. Was it sad? Maybe in the moment, or for a few months it was. Yeah.
That's a key moment. You could it's one of two places: be tainted or be driven, and you chose to grab that wheel.
You always got to take the high road, and surround yourself with courageous people, not cowards.
Absolutely, man.
Sometimes it doesn't even feel like a choice though, because it's like either that or you give up music, right? Like, what is your other choice?
We're already unstable.
Yeah, I mean, like,
we
make it out like it's like we chose to march on. It's like, no, we didn't. We just we didn't know what else to do. We had to just keep going, right?
Yeah.
For me, I mean, it was probably the similar story to you. But I had a really positive mindset with it. I lost a year of demos and things. Everything I had been writing, started a session with. It wasn't even an album. It was just every idea I'd had for the last year. And in a weird way, though, it was awful, but it was liberating. And I was like, I'm just going to start over. Because I don't know if any of that was good anyways. It's a good excuse to just clean slate. But if I was creating an album like you guys and I was 1,000 hours in, I would have been devastated. But for me, I was just throwing out half-baked ideas left and right, lost about a year's worth of those. And it was a lesson on finishing things. Because if you don't finish things, sometimes they can be taken from you. The things that you finish and you make all the way to a master, it's been mixed, it's mastered, you distributed it, that stuff's going to stay out in the world, right? But the stuff you don't get to that point, that you don't put the finishing touches on, can be taken from you, and the world will never hear it, maybe. And so it was a lesson in that, too. Take it to the finish line, otherwise it might never get out there.
It's crushing. And that's where I feel technology has really pushed producers, because now it's you just better create gold right out the gate. And that's why I value people who are classically trained, who it's just in your blood, where all you do is create professionally. Yeah. And that's where it's dude, bring in Lance.
Yeah.
No, we have an issue, just bring in Lance.
Right.
He's gonna bring in Timbaland.
Yeah.
Bring in Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He's got the answers no matter what.
Yeah.
Bring in Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
He might just have to stand in the corner, be a fly on the wall, but when it's time to speak up, he'll tell you what you need.
Well, sometimes it's just those Zen guys. It's like Phil Jackson with the Lakers. It's the talent was there, but it was this guy who just had this Zen theory that could calm everybody's personality that enabled them to achieve greatness. Sometimes that's what a producer is they're able to quiet all the other voices and just get you to hear the one that is the one that you need to hear. Sometimes they're not even producing anything. They're producing your own shortcomings and your own mental struggles. There's we're talking about Mental Health Monday, right? That's sometimes the thing that we need to get past to create our best work.
Bro, people can talk all they want about Kanye.
Yeah.
But Kanye is crazy enough to know that his idea is gold.
Yeah.
And so often, Kanye was just the dude standing behind a white guy at a computer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he was crazy enough to take risks.
Yeah.
The kind of risks that pushed music decades before its time.
At his apex, he was so incredible, which makes me wonder what is happening with him now? Is it still all part of something, or has he lost it? What's going on?
I don't know, man.
He kind of crossed the line with all the Trump stuff.
Yeah, but have we ever known though? Have we ever had our thumb put down on Kanye?
Yeah.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Hawks ain't even in the dance, bro. You guys have better chance with your tight ends in the draft. Damn.
What do you call somebody that bombs a podcast?
Multiple times.
Bro, offensive is what that is.
What's two bombs? Because Unabomber's one. Two would be duo
doubled
bomber.
up, dude.
That guy.
That's a double shot.
He thought we were on the radio, too.
Damn,
I'm
come on, bro. No, but I really there's you can be an 80-year-old producer.
Yeah.
You can be tapped in at the age of 80.
Totally.
You might be producing Van Gogh hits, but
If you're a vegan, right?
If you're vegan, bro.
You're an 80-year-old producer. Your mind is still connected to your gut, and both still work okay. I'm not pushing an agenda. I swear.
I love the transition of kind of like let's go down the list of some artists that started off like this, and then they ended up like Kid Rock has gone through that. Look at what Kid Rock has transitioned into now. You know, he's really found his niche market.
Yeah,
his niche.
That's a lot of what it is finding your audience somehow.
Yeah,
that should be consuming. Because I feel like we're making really, really great music right now, but I haven't really figured out myself, let alone fully figured out what my audience is. Because you got tracks like Home, and then you got my sentimental singer-songwriter acoustic stuff too. But I love the pop stuff way more. So like I'm looking to find a way to transition fully when the time is right, you know.
But kind of to go back to our one of our initial jokes is the fact you're a chameleon.
Sure.
And you can really tell when you go down your track list, it's like, holy shit, left field, right field, doesn't matter. And that's got to soothe you a little bit, Lance, knowing that you're working with someone who's diverse.
Yeah, I don't think any artist has to feel like they need to lock into one audience.
Yeah.
Oftentimes an artist, you know, how many times has an artist broke because they did something or someone remixed, you know, their track, or they they did a feature on a rap track when they're like a singer-songwriter, you know, countless times. So I think
what was
it's
that? Fun was the name of that group, right? Where he was in this like struggling acoustic. What was the name of the first band he was in? I can't remember now, but like, he just started this project called Fun, and I'm sure it was like I'm writing Waiters.
Oh, that was one of the Jonas Brothers. One of the Jonas Brothers is in that band. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's just like sometimes when you pivot, that's when you create something truly great. Because at our core, like, do any of us really know who we are? Mm-mm. It's through stepping out of those things that create growth. Yep. And it's the same thing with music. It's like, for me, the acoustic guitar was paying all my bills, so I thought I had to be fit into this box. Yeah. But I always love pop music. I love hip-hop music. I love anything that's rhythmic, anything that's genuine and from the heart. Doesn't even matter what it is. And so I was like, let's do this. I put this off for so long. Let's have some fun and make some stuff that, like, independent of what anybody thinks, is what I feel like doing right now.
I'm glad we're going down this vein because I wanted to talk to you about this.
Sure.
None of us really heard or knew who Lissy was before the Pursuit of Happiness cover.
Hey, it's a great example.
Yeah.
Now we got you.
This is Lissy's dude right here.
Really?
I've worked with Lissy.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
She is my spirit animal. I just got to meet her last summer, introduced my wife to her. She played down in Rochester. She's incredible. I didn't know who she was. Yeah. This grungy Janis Joplin type sounding like female singer until Pursuit of Happiness went viral.
Yeah.
And then I had to show everybody. Yeah. And then the hits just started ringing up.
Yeah.
And then we got you. We Found Love track. The first song on Spotify. It's got millions of views.
Yeah.
Rihanna, Riri. Yeah. I mean, that's Bae.
Yeah.
And then we got this redheaded Midwesterner, white dude, singing a cover, doing it justice.
Sure.
That's where Lissy did Pursuit of Happiness justice, because that song took over the world.
Yeah.
And then we got you.
Sure.
Did you kind of find almost like a new life after recording that cover?
I don't know. I've always just been a hustler, and I've always been able to just spend my time in these places or these moments, and I've taken solace from it. I think my greatest fear has always been to live the same day over and over again, especially musically, and just be like formulaic and like have a certain set of things that I do to create. If I knew what that form was to create a hit, I would probably rebel against it and not do it just for the sheer form of I hate predictability. I hate feeling like I'm doing something a certain way. So I wouldn't say it was therapy in that. I think the therapy, though, has always come from jumping from one thing to the other. I've never wanted to fit in a box, really. Yeah. So
when you're diverse enough to pull that off, We Found Love.
Yeah.
Props to you.
Thanks,
kudos,
man.
Because I wouldn't have seen that. If I would have seen you first, I would have totally judged you.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's no way. And then now,
But part of that's the cool part is when people see you and they have their assessment of you, and then you open your mouth to sing.
Yeah.
And it's something different. I think people love that. I mean, Susan Boyle from like the America's Got Talent.
Perfect example.
Ultimate example of that. We love when someone looks a certain way and we don't anticipate what's going to come out of their mouth when they start singing. It's the ultimate. So,
man,
yeah,
actually, oh my gosh, she took over the world for a while.
Yeah.
Or what's his name? Who sings that once? Psy.
Yeah.
Psy, like he kind of did himself a disservice because. Let's be honest, that song was like too big for its own good. And he was forced on every late night show to just do that song. No, Si, we don't want anything else, that song.
Yep.
And then he a year later, after that song fades out, he tries to come back with his first English song.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Gangnam Style, we'll put it that way, you know? And you can only tap into the Kanye West, Rick Rubin producers for so long.
Right.
Before it's like, no, your market already spoke.
Yeah.
You're a one-hit wonder.
Right.
And that's a dangerous place to be, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I value the true songwriters, the Ed Sheerans of the world, the Taylor Swifts. She catches way too much backlash, man. That girl sacrificed it all, and she had the support of her family to actually make the move and do it.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
No, totally. I think, and the Poland, so like, I sang this song for this Polish pop group. That was even more transformative than the We Found Love thing, because that thing went to like 61 million hits on YouTube. It went #1 in Poland. So I have a platinum record sitting in my studio from this collaboration. And I think that was in a lot of ways what opened me up to being like, people like this pop style of me, and like it's proven itself overseas. It hasn't proven itself here, yet, but it was a validating point of like I was a part of a hit, and my voice can sit well in this world that I thought I had to hamstring myself back down to just being acoustic singer, melancholy songwriter guy, So I don't know. It's a weird thing. Part of it is not knowing where it goes from here.
What do you think about, and both you can speak on this, what do you think about the poppiness that's entering the country realm?
Pop's just kind of entering everything, isn't it? Like bro country being kind of just sounding like pop music, not having a lot of stylistic elements that are different. The Nelly collaboration with Florida Georgia Line. You should speak on that. Like, what do you follow the pop country?
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Also, genres can generally also represent certain demographics of people, and that demographic, will listen to both country and pop. So why build a wall between the two?
Yep.
It was just a matter of time. And a lot of it is what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Production elements. Because the vibe is really still the same.
Yeah.
That feel good pop thing.
Yeah.
It's songs about love. I don't know. I see fewer differences than I do similarities, I guess.
I look at it as a bridge because I was adamantly against country. I just didn't like the backcountry road drinking Budweiser with my bros. I wasn't about it. It didn't strike my nerve. But then once they started making it more poppy, Nelly played a huge role.
Yep.
It was like, oh my gosh, man. Like, well, I grew up on Nelly. I suppose I can give it a shot.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm kind of vibing. I like when Toby Keith sings about I'll never smoke weed with Willie again.
Yeah.
That's clever, man.
Yeah.
That tickled my fancy. And then it started getting poppy. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
I see it almost being as like a metaphor for just like, I always say this to people, I'm like, people are like racist and ignorant towards each other, but their protest never extends to a restaurant. Does it? No. Like people are like, oh yeah, man, like Italian dudes or whatever, but they don't say, no, I'm never going to eat Italian food. It's the same way with like music. I think it's a representative of the fact that when we come together as a collective and we tear the genre barriers down, we accomplish the greatest possible music that we possibly can. Same thing with food. Why is food so much better in Minneapolis than it is in Royalton, Minnesota, population 500 people? Because it's all of these collective ideas coming into one space and everybody raising their game because of it. And I think, even though people are like, oh, I wish when country music was way more racist and like, what? It's like, no, it's just like, it's great that it's transitioning. It's great that it's getting these other influences, because I think it's also bringing people together. People that love hip hop and love country are now having a conversation at a concert maybe, whereas they would have seen themselves as two separate things before.
Lady Gaga is doing an incredible job right now with it, being the bridge.
Yeah.
people fail to realize the importance Johnny Cash had on the industry in the early 2000s.
Right.
During his final days. That dude was crossing bridges.
Oh, Nine Inch Nails covers.
There
and
you
stuff,
go.
You know, that song is so powerful, man.
That's the morning my wife went into labor. We were listening to Johnny Cash "Hurt," driving out of the valley.
I cried as like a 17-year-old dude, like somebody who didn't even like know life yet. I just was like devastated watching that video. Like, that's the power of that, man. Like, because you're just like, this guy is a legend. He attained everything as a musician you could ever want to, and he still is realizing he's going to die.
Lose by a million.
You know? And so the mortality part of that, like even as a young kid, for me to be able to grasp that, how powerful was that? And I didn't even know it was a cover at the time, you know, by a hard rock group.
A lot of people don't. A lot of younger people don't realize that they're listening to a cover of Pursuit of Happiness, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, Friday night, it all goes down, baby.
Varsity Theater, man. As a venue I've dreamed of playing, and I saw Matt Carney play there, who was one of the initial guys who kind of blended hip-hop and acoustic. That was one of my favorite shows, and the fact that I'm going to be on that stage is going to be really special.
You earned it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You earned it.
Yeah, we're just doing what we can, right? And
let's get it, dog.
Yeah.
So I'm going to release this episode this week then.
Amazing.
We'll try to get you some more tickets sold. Where can people get tickets?
Tickets, it's all through Ticketmaster, or you can just go to michaelshynes.com, myname.com, and there's a ticket link there. They're just everywhere. It's under every YouTube video of me is a link to buy tickets. So if you just want to pull up a YouTube video of me performing anything, you can buy a ticket from that too.
Gotta love social media. And I also love when I have guests on that I can actually use their songs on the podcast without facing legal battles.
Whatever you need.
I'm not allowed on SoundCloud anymore. We'll put it that way. All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you.